Hi, I'm Steve Pond from TheWrap. We're here at the Toronto Film Festival with Red Penguins director Gabe Polsky and Stephen Warshaw, who figures prominently in the film. Gabe, how did you and Stephen get together? You made another movie about the collision between Russian and American hockey, sort of from the Russians coming to America side, but now you've found this crazy story about the other way around.
Yeah, so I was promoting Red Army, and I was in New York at a screening, and this crazy guy came up to me after the screening and was like, "Well, listen, I got this crazy story. You wouldn't believe it. It's about this team, this Red Army team, and what happened in the 90s." And he kept going on, and I was just like, right away, I was, didn't want anything to do with it because, again, I just made this huge movie about, Russia and hockey and sort of the epic story, and I didn't want to touch it. So anyway, Steve got me to give him my address, and so basically months later, I got this huge box of material, huge, and with documentation and videos, just basically as if he'd been hoarding everything in his life for the like 20 years. And so I finally, like, months and months passed, and my wife was basically cleaning up the house, and she was about to throw this box away, and I felt really bad, so I opened it and started kind of looking through, and my eyes just, I was in shock, that this story, that no one had heard this story either, that, really a story about, the 90s in Russia, the most dramatic period maybe in any country's history, going from one extreme authoritarian country to like a country that had no laws, no rules, and was trying to find its identity and, trying to survive, and it was just this amazing story that's so dramatic, and you don't see any stories about this period of time really from kind of a Western perspective. And I just thought it was somebody had to do this story. I was reluctant at the time to do it, but I knew someone had to do it. And eventually I kind of got step by step kind of seduced into telling the story. So
Steve, had you been hoarding all that stuff for 20 years looking for somebody to do something with it?
No. But after seeing Red Army, Polsky was the guy to do it.
So did you expect that something was going to come of this when you approached him and gave him all that stuff? Did you think he was going to blow you off? Or?
Yes, but I was persistent, and I just wore him down, I guess. And after a while, he realized the insanity of what was in that treasure trove of Russian penguins. And I really, to this day, 26 years later, you're lucky to get out with your life, and you're lucky to get out, in one piece, right? Yeah.
Well, tell us your experience briefly. I mean, you went over there. You were basically hired to use sort of American-style savvy and American money to juice up the Red Army hockey team? Yeah,
the Red Army hockey team, the greatest hockey team in history, 33 national championships. They just won this year, first time in over a quarter century. They had lost all their money, all their funding from the government. So the team went from first place and almost full stadiums to empty stadiums. It was like a mausoleum when I got there, and no one cared about the team anymore.
Well, a mausoleum with a strip club in the basement.
Yes, we left that part out. Yes, I found the strip club. That took about 3 minutes, and I realized that we had our first bunch of promotions lined up right in our basement. And that's when we brought in the strippers and the free beer and packed the place. And then after that, we got sophisticated with Legends Nights and such. Mm-hmm. Yeah.